Hello everyone. This is the second part in my series of AWS Cloud Practitioner certification videos. The first part covered the basics of what cloud is, some core concepts, and its applications. This video will cover IAM, or Identity and Access Management. IAM is a core security service in Amazon Web Services that helps us control who can access which resources in our cloud environment. Think of it as the security guard of AWS. It decides who gets in, what they are allowed to do, and keep tracks of their actions. In this video, we'll be discussing the following topics. You can move on ahead to any topic you like. So, what exactly is IAM? IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. It's a service that allows you to securely control user identities and their level of access to AWS resources. For example, if you have an Amazon S3 bucket, IAM ensures only the right people can read, write, or delete files in it. The best part is, IAM is completely free. It's automatically included with your AWS account. You only pay for the AWS resources you protect with the IAM, not for using the IAM itself. IAM has four main building blocks, the first of which is users. These are identities that represent a person or sometimes an application. For example, an employee could have a user identity with a username and password. Similarly, groups, these are a collection of users that share the same permissions. For example, all developers can be in one group with EC2 access, while all accountants can be in another group with billing access. Similarly, roles are different from users. Instead of belonging to a single person, roles are used to grant temporary permissions. They are often assigned to AWS services. For example, an EC2 instance could assume a role that allows it to access S3. And similarly, policies are the actual rules written in JSON format. They define what rules, what actions are allowed or denied. For example, a policy could say, allow this user to read objects from S3 but not delete them. So let's look more closely at IAM policies since they control access. First of all, policies are written in JSON format. The version tells AWS which policy language is used. The current version is usually 2012 1017. The statement block is where permissions are defined. Inside a statement, we have effect. This can be either allow or deny. Action. This lists what operations are permitted, like S3, list bucket, or EC2 start instances. And resource, this specifies which AWS resource the action applies to using an ARN or Amazon resource name. In this example, the policy allows a user to list the contents of a specific S3 bucket. And so now here are some key features that make IAM extremely powerful. Granular permissions. IAM allows very fine-grained control. Instead of just access or no access, you can specify permissions down to exact actions, like allow reading from this bucket but not deleting. This follows the least privilege principle, only giving the minimum access needed. MFA, also known as multi-factor authentication, you might have heard a lot about that. This adds an extra layer of security by requiring something you know, like a password, plus something you have, like a mobile device or a hardware token. Shared access without sharing passwords. With IAM, you never need to share the root account password. You can create individual accounts for each user with their own permissions. Integrated with all AWS services. Whether you are working with S3, EC2, RDS, or Lambda, IAM can control access consistently across the entire AWS environment. Now let's look at some real-world examples. You may want to allow your developers to launch and manage EC2 instances but prevent them from accessing billing information. IAM makes this separation very easy. Similarly, an application running on EC2 might need to store logs in an S3 bucket instead of storing static credentials in the app. You can assign a role with read-write permissions. And if certain operations are sensitive, like deleting resources or changing account settings, you can require MFA to add extra security. Similarly, you can hire a consultant or third-party vendor. You can give them temporary access through a role that expires after a certain time, ensuring they can't access your systems indefinitely. Now, moving on to the best practices. To make the most of IAM, AWS recommends several best practices. Don't use the root account for daily tasks. The root account has full access to everything, and using it regularly is a security risk. Always follow the principle of least privilege. Only grant the permission needed, nothing more. Enable an MFA on all accounts, especially for administrators. Rotate access keys regularly so that even if one gets exposed, it won't stay valid for long. Use AWS CloudTrail to log all account activity. This way, if something suspicious happens, you can track it back to the source. And to conclude, IAM is a foundation of security in AWS. It ensures that the right people and applications have the right level of access and nothing more. By using policies, roles, and MFA, organizations can protect their AWS resources from unauthorized access and reduce security risks. If you are working with AWS, learning IAM well is one of the best steps you can take toward managing cloud security effectively. And that's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you once again.